Fox News alert on immigration. We just heard from the White House about the president saying he is receptive to a path to citizenship from Dreamers. And what we also learned from Rod Shaw with the White House is that Chief of Staff John Kelly will head to Capitol Hill. They are, in fact, working on getting the framework that will have 4 divisions of border security to it. And the Dreamers, a component of what they are talking about. That is big news. Let's bring in Republican Senator Lamar Alexander of Tennessee. And he's part of that bipartisan immigration group that's been working on this legislation. And I take it that there has been some movement that you can tell us about that might be positive.
Well, first, the president's statement is a positive movement. That's real presidential leadership. I said to the president earlier this year, Mr. President, President Bush couldn't do it. President Obama couldn't do it. They both tried. You can do it. You can be Nixon to China on immigration. This isn't something that the Nashville City Council can solve or the state can solve. The president and the Congress have to create a legal immigration system. You can do it. And I think his comments yesterday were an important part of presidential leadership to solve the problem.
You know, it's so interesting to me when you talk about, the president's role in all of this. As you've put together this bipartisan group and you're working on this, have you called specifically on the president? Give us your thoughts and your vision.
Yes, yeah, I welcome the president's comments. I met with the Secretary of the Homeland Security Department this week, and I said, please give us your recommendations. Please provide technical advice. We want the president's advice. Now, it'll be up to the Senate what we pass. We want to pass a bill with at least 70 votes, so the president will sign it, and if he signs it, the House will be more likely to pass it. So, yes, we want the president's advice.
Tell me about these 30 senators, these bipartisan group that you've put together. I understand that your leadership is Senator Durbin and Senator Cornyn. There have been some pretty tough go-betweens, Durbin and the president right now. Talk to me about the spirit of this group.
Well, it's a tough issue, but the spirit of the group is good. There were 36 senators yesterday at a meeting at which we asked Durbin and Cornyn to gather our thoughts, give them to Senator McConnell so we can put them on the floor on February 8th when he's promised to begin the immigration debate. The reason we did that, they're both the number 2 leaders in the Senate on each caucus, and they're the chairman and ranking member of the Judiciary's Immigration Subcommittee. So that's a good step forward, and now we're meeting and talking about exactly what kind of bill should Senator McConnell put on the floor on the 8th of February to start the debate.
All right. I want you to watch or listen to something with me from the president on whether or not he can believe what Chuck Schumer has to say going forth about the wall.
Schumer says 2 bills on the table. Do you believe him?
No, I don't. In fact, I just watched Joe Manchin said Schumer does not mean that.
Are you taking Schumer back to the White House
Sure.
on immigration?
I like him. I like Schumer. 25 grew up with Schumer.
All right, that bit at the end. I like him. I grew up with him. You want to get beyond 60 votes, bipartisan manner. The president obviously playing a huge role, as you've said. Talk to me about why you need to breach that threshold.
Well, we need to bridge the threshold because we don't want a bill that has 48 Democrats and 12 Republicans. We have to get 60 votes in the Senate to pass it. But if we have 70 votes, that means we'll get many Republicans and many Democrats. That's more likely to be something that reflects the president's views. If the president's comfortable with it, I think the House Republicans will be comfortable with it. See, I think if President Trump says this is fair and this secures the border in important ways, I think most people on our side of the aisle will say, okay, I'll take his word for that.
Do you trust Chuck Schumer? I mean, he took $1.6 billion off the table. Potentially, it was an offer for the wall.
The president and Chuck Schumer are both New Yorkers. They're both negotiators. That kind of negotiation really doesn't matter here. We've got the president's recommendations. We welcome them. We're going to go to work in the Senate. We're going to see if we can get to 70 votes and solve the problem. This is our job to do it. We've gone too long without a legal immigration system. Conservatives like the rule of law. Okay, let's settle this. We don't want an illegal status situation, particularly for these young people who may have come in at age 5, graduated from college, joined the military, raised a family. Do we want to deport 800,000 of them at once? No, I don't think anybody much wants to do that. So let's decide what to do about it. Let's secure the border as much as we can, and let's move on to the next thing.
All right. The White House set to release what it sees in terms of immigration legislation next week. You're working on the bipartisan bill, but it isn't just senators and it's not the president. It's also the House. And it's much more conservative view on the House side. What kinds of conversations are you having with representatives so that you can get something to the president's desk to sign?
Well, that's not really the way it works. I think the way it works, with all respect, is we do our best job keeping in mind we have a Republican House and Republican president. That's why we need 70 votes. If we have a bill that the president supports and says this secures the border in important ways, and this is fair for the DACA children who were brought here illegally, I think many conservatives in the House of Representatives will support that. So we don't need to be going over there trying to persuade them of this or that. They're an independent body. We should do our job in the Senate, see if we can get 70 votes, the president's support. That's the best way for us to deal with the House.
Can I tell you how much it lights up on social media when someone of your stature, your leadership on the Hill says, I'm going to go do my job? I'm just going to put that out there.
Well, good. That's what we should be doing.
Okay. Senator Alexander, thank you for being here.
Thank you for your time.
Sure. The Justice Department